13 plus powerful lessons from the book, The Power of Mental Discipline. Number 1. The biggest problem with many people today is that they believe success generally comes down to either luck or talent. It doesn't. Firstly, luck is a random factor. Of course, there is going to be a very tiny minority who will actually succeed purely to luck. These are the lottery winners, the lucky gamblers, and the reality TV stars of the modern age. For most of these people, success will be fleeting. Lottery winners, for example, have a tendency to go broke. This is because they never learned the ability to handle money on the way to their riches, nor did they learn the value of the work that would go into it. Because of that, they tend to waste the cash and run out long before they should have. Talent is similar. It can be spectacular. Many people out there have some level of talent, but it's hard work and discipline that are needed for success. Most athletes have a common theme of constant hard work from a very young age. This is what it takes to become an Olympian, a Hall of Famer, or a world record holder. Number 2. All success starts with the belief in the idea and in yourself. You can't push yourself to develop an idea, a business, or even your health and relationships if you don't believe you have the ability to accomplish what's in front of you. That's where it all starts. Confidence is an area of self-improvement that people focus massively on, and with good reason. Who doesn't want to be more confident, right? More confidence means you're less afraid of failure, you're more willing to try new ideas, and that you work harder when you apply yourself. Sounds great, doesn't it? Who wouldn't want all of that? What I'm here to tell you is that confidence isn't something you find, it's something you create, something you build from within, and it starts with self-belief. If you believe yourself to be a problem solver or a hard worker, you'll stick with things when they become difficult, and try your best to find a way through. On the other hand, if you believe you don't try hard enough and don't have the ability to solve problems, then you're a lot more likely to give up in times of difficulty. This carries through all areas of life. People who don't believe they're attractive tend to get less dating opportunities because the lack of belief prevents them from putting themselves out there. In social situations, it isn't a type of personality or interest that makes people popular. It's their confidence in themselves and their belief that they are interesting people. Number 3. With the belief in place, people become more social and share their interests and opinions. A belief in their own ability to hold a good conversation leads to more and deeper conversations taking place. All of this then fuels the belief further. Because it's proven to be true, this cycle continues and creates powerful confidence in the social area. The same works for other areas of life. Self-belief gives you the confidence to give it your best instead of a weak, half-hearted effort. On the flip side, imagine a person who doesn't believe in their social skills. This lack of belief leads to low confidence, with constant doubts on whether they'll be liked as a person or whether they're interesting enough. These people avoid the risk of a bad interaction and hold themselves back. They don't really engage in conversations, and they don't really open up about themselves. Where does this lead? Well, how would you react to a quiet, moody-looking stranger who doesn't try to interact with you? Let's say you take the chance and introduce yourself anyway. The person you're talking to responds but is very awkward about it and gives short answers with no real info. They're giving you no information, not really asking any questions, or not taking the convo any deeper. How likely are you to become friends? Not very, right? This is the effect of low confidence and a lack of self-belief. Number 4. The difference between self-belief and confidence is the effect it has and the area it covers. With confidence, we're usually talking about a specific area or skill. You might be confident that you're good-looking, but not in other areas. Somebody else might be confident in their math skills, but not their social ability. Confidence tends to be attached to a category and can often be supported with actual proof. The confident mathematician has probably solved loads of math problems before, so there's definite, indisputable proof that they're good at math. This is why they have confidence. When it comes to self-belief, we're usually talking in a more general way. If you believe in yourself strongly, you're probably willing to try anything, even if it's something you're not usually good at or a completely new skill. People with self-belief don't need proof of their skill level. They will happily believe in their own ability, or at least their ability to learn, improve, and will give most things a try. Number 5. Self-image is the way you see yourself, how you think and feel about yourself. A lot of people overlook this area, but it's massively important if you want to create a certain lifestyle or build specific skills and habits. Remember how people with low self-belief are always expecting negative outcomes and tend to act in ways that lead to those outcomes? Well, self-image works in a similar way. If you think of yourself as having negative traits like being lazy, incompetent, or unproductive, then you're more likely to act those ways. If you generally look at yourself as a hard worker, a talented and productive person, then you are more likely to behave in that way. It isn't as simple as just believing it when you want to. Self-image has to be a constant and consistent creation. You need to believe it all the time, and that belief has to be backed up by actions. When you act in a way that matches your self-image, it begins to grow and gain strength. Number 6. Identifying a weakness can be tough for some people because their ego is fragile. That's what happens if self-belief is low, so you always need to start with your self-belief and creating that positive self-image. It still feels uncomfortable for most people to really analyze themselves and give an honest assessment, but it gets easier with time. Identifying weakness isn't just about seeing how you can change your sales tactics or adapt a business plan. It's also about tweaking yourself in general. The way you live, how you behave, your own knowledge and skills. The most successful people in the world are able to identify areas for improvement in themselves and their businesses. This is what we need to do when it comes to discipline as well. We need to take an honest look back and see where we are missing the mark. Try to isolate the true cause of the problem. I found I used to procrastinate more and have less output when tired. The tiredness was a result of late nights, which was a result of getting up too late and having a slow start. Changing my morning routine to start earlier and be more efficient was tough at first. The earlier starts helped my output, but I wasn't really any quicker. Then I adapted and started falling asleep earlier with no problems. Now I was fully rested on my early starts and able to really crank up the work rate. Number 7. Having drive and direction is a great thing, but they won't last without another attribute: mental toughness. Mental toughness is defined as the ability to persevere through bad circumstances. Those bad circumstances could be anything at all, from an injury to bad weather to a generally hard situation. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be something particularly bad. It can just be a sudden and unexpected change. Anytime we experience adversity, mental toughness is needed and can be a great help. Extreme mental toughness is essential if you want to succeed at the highest levels. The highest levels are the hardest levels, so situations will be constantly changing and full of challenges. At the highest levels, it isn't just self-doubt that can be a problem, but also other people and their doubts. Number 8. A habit is something that you do almost automatically. It can be almost any type of action, but by becoming a habit, the conscious thought and decision-making process is normally inactive when you perform the task. Decision-making isn't needed so much because you've repeated the same action over and over again until it becomes ingrained. You can speed this act up by using special techniques, such as a cue when the habit starts, and a reward at the end of it. Training a habit doesn't take all that long. Once the habit is successfully set, you're no longer using much willpower to perform the action. Number 9. Changing your mind and your life isn't as simple as flicking a switch. It takes time and consistent effort. If you mess up a couple of times or let your standards slide a little, that's okay. The important thing is to be moving forward and at a decent speed. Analyze your performance and habits. Take stock of what you're sticking to and what you're failing at. Be honest about it because you are doing this for you. If you need to sharpen up a couple of habits or change your approach, do it. It takes an honest, analytical approach to make the most of your new mentality. Everybody slacks off sometimes, and everybody makes mistakes. That's how life is, and it's how we learn and grow. What matters is that you sit down, look over your schedules, notes, and other plans, and then be honest about your progress. Being honest with yourself is massively important if you want to succeed. Number 10. Mind control is the kind of superpower everybody would like to have. Being able to control minds and the way they think is pretty much the same as controlling people's actions. A person acts on their thoughts, so before they can do something, they must think it. Of course, people can act quite instinctively or subconsciously, but these decisions are created either by habit or by automatic reactions based on past events. So your brain already decided it knows the best response without needing you to consciously think. Observation of your thoughts gives you a deeper understanding of where they come from and why they are happening. You'll get an understanding of the reasons behind the way you think and why specific thoughts seem to come into your mind by themselves. This is another level of knowing yourself. Another level of delving into your inner workings. If you can make a goal feel very personal and closely associated to the negative or positive events in your life, then it gives you a lot more reason to stay disciplined. When something happens that affects you deeply, it's hard to entirely let go. You can process and accept it, but you probably won't forget it. Remember earlier when I talked about my own negative feelings and how I use them as fuel? You can do the same. Number 11. Experiencing emotions and allowing them to be felt in full is a good thing for one other reason too. It desensitizes you. When people bury their emotions immediately, they never really feel them. They decide the pain hurt is too much and bury the feeling, ignoring it completely. If you choose to go through these feelings and experience them instead, the negative feelings will have less effect on you next time. You toughen yourself and become more able to deal with bad situations. Emotional toughness isn't about denying feelings. It's about allowing them so you can build up some resistance and resilience. Thoughts are a lot easier to deal with because they come from the logical part of your body, the brain. They usually make sense and it's easier to analyze them and pick them apart. When you've figured out the reasons for them and how to deal with them, it's quite straightforward. Number 12. Fears aren't the only obstacle on the path to success. There are going to be setbacks sometimes. Not everything goes to plan. Sometimes the plan has to change, and a setback is nothing more than a sign to push you in the right direction. This is easier to deal with when the setback is work-related, but sometimes setbacks come from other sources. Sometimes the problem is with your health, love life, or elsewhere. Life is always going to give you random problems from time to time. Number 13. Exercise is a great way to boost your overall willpower. First, there are plenty of general health benefits to exercise. And second, it's a great stress reducer. This general boost to your health will help your willpower. By burning some energy with focused exercise, you also stop yourself from feeling restless if you need to spend large parts of the day sitting around. This is helpful for your focus and can also help you to relax. Plus, it will help you to sleep better. More on that later. Many training types keep you mentally sharp too, without requiring too much mental effort. Over time, your day-to-day energy levels will increase, and your mood can also be positively altered. Intense exercise gets you used to working in tough conditions. This is a great way to increase willpower and is a method used by special forces units all over the world. The selection process for every unit I've heard of involves extreme physical testing for long time periods. It isn't really about whether they're fit enough because nobody will ever be fit enough to breeze through these tests. They're designed to take everybody to their limit and keep them there where they feel exhausted, stressed, and hurt at all times. To survive, they have to weather the mental storm and keep pushing. It doesn't matter how fit they are. What matters is that they never quit. This develops extreme mental discipline and makes them trainable. People who can be transformed into the ultimate combat machines, true warrior athletes. It all comes from their discipline, and their discipline is proven and built by physical struggle. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, you probably will not see us again. If you have, congratulations, you are growing every day.